Hi guys, we have a very interesting reading. It's actually really similar to, I think, my last reading or something very recent. So there's been a lot of this retrograde energy. So we had like the Mercury retrograde, and then we had a lot of other planets in retrograde, and then we had the new moon ending with the Mercury retrograde. So there was a lot of energy coming through with that as well. So there's been a lot of stuff going on, and do bear with me because I have been in some grieving of my own. So I haven't been making a whole lot of content, but to get us started, the first card, and I swear I did a little short video of this on my TikTok as well because I do like little short recaps, short versions of these readings on TikTok. But I literally was like, you know what? This reading sounds like it's for me, and it was 555. So, if that doesn't say enough, yeah, it's a collective reading. This is the energy update. So, to get started, we have the Hermit. So, we've been kind of in this like going not necessarily into like full hermit mode, but we've been going through and processing a lot of energy, and so we've gone into like this isolation period to reflect, to self reflect, and to transition through this energy and the shift, the change. So, with that being said, we're kind of going through an unknowing period, so it can seem sometimes more bleak, and with that bleakness and that unknowing comes anxiety. Um, don't fret too much. So the next card that we got here was the Five of Cups. So again, just kind of falling into like this nostalgic reminiscence of what could have been, how could have things gone differently, just kind of like replaying scenarios. And I do have this sense that you've actually gone a lot better at it. 636 reflection. So do give yourself lots of credit for that, because you handle things a lot differently than what you used to. So do give yourself plenty of credit for that. But going into this like isolation, it can kind of again bring you to this nostalgia. So you kind of replay scenarios. You think about old situations or even recent situations and just kind of wish things went differently, and so that can pull you into a dark place. So you don't want to get into that dark place. You just want to use this as a grieving, because any energy that exists needs to be acknowledged. Like if there's like this sadness, this emptiness, or this lack that you feel, like you have to face these emotions and dig deeper into them instead of just burying them with all of the coping mechanisms that we have. So you have to really face them and understand, like, this is why I feel this way. I need to work on this. This is shadow work. This is literally a big part of shadow work, is going through this period where you do become a little bit nostalgic, and not to drag you into a vicious cycle, but to again go through the grieving process and process information, try to find a deeper understanding of things, ways to maybe go about things differently in the future, or to just understand the emotions that you're going through, because the emotions are valid. There's a reason why you feel a certain way, and we don't give ourselves a lot of opportunity to analyze what that means and what we're lacking. And so going through this process, this grieving process, the nostalgia, the Five of Cups, it allows you to pinpoint what it is. It gives you that access. It doesn't necessarily mean that you will, but you are able to. It's you who needs to do the work, though. So just remember that. It's just reiterating. I'm sure you already know that, but that's the point that we're making. Now, the next card that we got here was the Star card. So again, pulling yourself right back into this energy of the main character energy, because the Star is the main character. This is you. Now, I do want to take note, now that I'm thinking about it, because it's hard to see, but she does have a cup, or I guess a vase of water, that she's pouring around her. You see how she's pouring it into the grass and she's pouring it into the well. So I saw this post on Facebook. Sometimes Facebook's not always toxic. It depends on how you set up your algorithms and your feed. That's a whole different story. But anyway, so this post that I saw was talking about like finding a source of water versus just refilling your cup or pouring from your cup. Now that is super important to notate, because when you find that real source, that source is life, that source is energy, that source is fulfillment, that source is happiness, and finding what brings you that energetic impulse to do better, to do want more, 639, to go and reach for more and do things for yourself. So it's allowing you to re-energize yourself and to find a real source of energy that brings you fulfillment, allows you to receive abundance through that energy, and allows you to find like a real like solid grounding where you are, so you can be happy with what you're doing and be abundant with what you're doing as well. And that's, that's a very generic too, because you could be doing anything and find soul fulfillment. It's always different for different people. So just go through that process, that previous process, the shadow work, to understand what will bring you to this star mode. But you are here, you are in this elevated position, and things are turning out for the better. You just have to realize that karma is karma, and it doesn't work good or bad. It energy flows way more intricate than we as little human beings can understand and comprehend. So there's not a real good or bad paradigm. There's just this energy flow where when we pour into ourselves, we nourish ourselves with the things that make us happy, whether that be like farming or making music, making content. You could literally narrate books. That brings a lot of joy to people. Just having that character elevation come out of them, where they can be somebody else or be the character in the book. Like, there's something really fulfilling with these things. So I'm just trying to bring some ideas and concepts that you don't have to be narrow-minded in this. Like, you don't have to be some like entrepreneur, like some Facebook star lord, where you're getting all those stars, and like a lot of that stuff is built to kind of keep you down anyway. Like it there are certain algorithms that do help help you grow, but like my point is, you don't have to be narrow-minded in what this actually means for you. Like the star card, it doesn't mean like popularity, celebrity, like being a celebrity, or I don't know, like a very known person, or somebody who receives a lot of like awards in life. Like, that's not really what the star is about. The star is really about you and your inner happiness and your inner light. This is like you finding your inner light, is what it really means. This is what it really boils down to. Sorry we spent so much time on that card. It just felt like it should be understood a little bit better, because we have this idea that we have to be making impacts around the world, and if we're not impacting people, then we're not doing our job or our purpose. But there's like a lot more purpose in not seeking that type of validation. Maybe that's a little too confusing, but there's a lot more fulfillment in not looking and seeking gratification from the outside world. Like, that doesn't go to say that like you shouldn't seek that, but it doesn't mean that you have to seek that in order to be happy. It doesn't bring you the happiness that your expectations might perceive it to be, because you see things online and you see certain things online. That's just like one idea, one version of something. There's a lot more that goes on beyond the curtain, is what I'm trying to relay here. So finding this real fulfillment is very important, because it's not about the focus of success necessarily. It's the focus of the fulfillment that's very important. So with that being said, this energy cycle, this energy flow will also, again with this nostalgic period, will also bring you to this sort of energy where we have the Six of Pentacles. So giving back this abundance, giving back this energy source, giving back this light to people who need the light, who have maybe helped boost you up, 644, who have have helped you get to the place where you are. So your community, like your local community, your people who follow you, the people who are supporting you morally, physically, mentally, like it's good to give back to those people because of karmic energy flow. Now, going back to where I said, like, there's no real good or bad, but there is this light source of energy. And if you understand it on a much more intricate level, it makes a lot more sense than the narrow definition I'm giving it. But this energy, when you pour it back into the universe does acknowledge it. It has like this focus of energy where it sees that true pure intent within you, and you're putting this energy back into the community around you, and it flows and it grows and it energizes, and it will come back to you in really beautiful ways. And it's not with the intent of wanting it to come back to you that's important. It's just that it does. So it is important to do that. If that makes sense. So having this energy, pouring this energy back to your community will again show other people that you are grateful for them being in your life, and showing your appreciation is really important. But people see that light, they see that true intent, that pure intent to want to communicate that gratification, and they see it, they see that pure energy. It's important, very important. Now, with that being said, I hope this reading does bring a little bit more clarity in why you've been going through this energy shift, because it has been pretty heavy. Like, we had like 2 super moons in August, and we're transitioning with season change, work lifestyle changes because of school, and then the weather, holidays are coming up. There's a lot of different energies that we're processing with, like grieving or changes in like careers or family sort of things, situations. So it's a lot to process. So going through this validation of where this energy is coming from and where it's presenting itself and where it's putting you into the reflection process is super important, because it will help you stay away from that vicious cycle of, well, I'm victimized, I don't feel like I can do better because I'm used to this. So allowing yourself to do the shadow work and do the actual harder stuff where it's reflection and going through and coming back to disciplining yourself so you can get back on track with things, super important, because it allows you to actually see the hard work that you have done that allows you to come back to this place. So that shows you the growth, and that allows you to have much more gratification, and it allows you to go through things without anxiety, with less of those anxious feelings, because it's just a part of the process now. See how that works? I know, it's crazy. I love you guys. If you liked today's reading, please hit that like and subscribe button. And even if you didn't, please hit it anyway, because it helps me help you help me help you. Duh.